Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy, Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Boy, yoy.
Wasn't
the
it?
mood in the room has swung around.
He walked here today,
Yes.
chest out, arms swinging by his side.
Like Dermot
Well, look at
Brereton
you,
about
you
to walk through the huddle.
You look tired. You look grumpy. What's wrong with you? Hung. Everything about you. You're no good.
All of the above.
It wasn't a good weekend for Team Calvinator.
But, Cal, you
Yeah.
were in such a good spot. It can't be a disaster.
It wasn't a disaster.
You were grumpy all weekend.
Yeah. It's just been a long
Twitter
weekend.
feed.
Yep.
There's young kids out there having
Yeah.
a go at things and you're just shooting them down because you didn't pick Heaney.
Oh, Heaney.
That's what it all comes back to.
Heaney.
Alcohol and lack of Heaney.
Look, I'll tell you what.
There's like a real PSA in this. Like,
Yeah, Heaney's my Goulden of last year, and I was just stubborn last
and he
year.
keep being stubborn.
And he's doing it again.
Like I said to you off air, it's easier just to like the Heaney. Get on and enjoy him.
And now I can't get on because he's got his bye
too
coming
late
up.
now.
Yeah, so
you
warned
call
you
him the
last
weasel. He took it personally.
yeah, he loves the nickname.
So let's talk about our scores for the week.
Okay,
Calvin, you go first.
18-27.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's solid. Hey, puts me just outside 4,000 on the rank.
Pretty solid. You didn't
That's
move
okay.
down too.
No,
That's
No,
good.
it wasn't a big slide. but
Almost
this,
a parish
I
type
think
score.
so. I think it was better.
yeah, this week though, Roy.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little bit different.
We'll discuss some of that
Yes.
later. Roy,
That's a potential issue. Dog, I got 18.55.
good score.
Now, that was a little bit better than par. It's very close at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's only about 30 points between us, Cow.
Yep.
And I reckon right between it was par.
Okay.
15 points more for you would have been par. So I improved about 1,000 ranks
Yeah, right.
on that. to just
1,000 ranks. I improved 20,000 ranks with my 1855. That's got me up inside the top 34,000 now, 33,150. But Calvinator, that 28 points that I got on you,
Yeah.
it's all right because that just
Brought
eating
you
the
a bit
elephant
closer.
one bite at a time. and
Eating
all
an
that sort of
elephant,
stuff.
one bite at a time.
I'm getting there. I'm only down on you, 160 points now.
That's a big elephant, dog.
Are you hungry, dog? Because it's like you're craving
This-
elephant at the moment.
It
That's
will
extreme.
be eaten by, well, could even be this week, actually, to be honest, looking at your side.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a potential
To make
issue.
up
I'm
those
sure
points.
you'll be able to fix it, though.
What is good, though, is there's a new little update to the website that you can share your images of your recent matchup. And so, Calvinator, I've gone onto the desktop side and clicked that little button there so I could share my image with everybody. And the most recent matchup is
Okay.
ours. And so everybody gets to see what our result was.
Did you share it last week?
Did I? No, because we didn't play each other last week, but we played each other this week.
okay.
And it's only new
Look,
now.
you
Okay.
would have hunted around. We've been put in that many leagues that you could find it on any given week.
You can also do it via the app as well. So there's a little button there that you can click on and
cool.
get that through and share it. Save the image or post it in different ways. And it's nice there, maybe a little bit of motivation. And,
Adds to the bands.
That is what it is all about.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
+3.
I'll go first. I went
you have one?
with big. I do have one, dog. Yes. I had multiple to choose from,
Yeah.
but I went with Xeri.
Yeah, good.
Now, after obviously the big discussion during the week of Grundy and Gone and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, but he comes out with a big 104, the big
Yeah.
unit. So
Yeah.
anyone that you bring in as a trade and rewards you with a triple figure score,
Yeah.
pat on the back, big fella.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. He was worthy.
Yeah, I'm going to give mine to Zach Butters.
Yes.
Interesting one there. He was in the mix all pre-season, landed on him because of where dollars ended up in the team, and quite happy with that. The 117 from him was huge. But I think the thing about it was watching the last quarter of that was all the reasons why wasn't always keen to get Butters in. You know, when he's on the bench, he's got trainers rubbing down his calves, goes back on, then comes back off with it as well. Anyway, he was good, and I think that he's going to be one of the better picks of the year.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
It's taken the 90s average into well into the hundreds.
He certainly will. I gave my +3 to Yowie.
Oh, I like this one.
Wow.
Look, people jumped off him last week
1,700
after that.
coaches traded him out.
1,700 after that 70. But what did we say? Give him a go at home. Now, my goodness, you don't get any easy ball for the Eagles.
No.
And he did not stop working his backside off. Really impressed. And to get to 98 as a cheap defender, legend.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
Sunday afternoon, watching at Ballarat. Strange things happen in Ballarat.
Oh, yes.
And Alex Sexton was ordinary anyway.
Yes.
And then they made a sub, which brought old the Ratkins into the team, who went back, and that pushed Sexy forward. 49 points for the game for old Sexton.
And that's not in the song, is it?
It's not. And you wouldn't even sell a record.
Sexy forward.
Yeah.
That
just
wouldn't
doesn't
go
belong.
down.
Makes me want to be
So
sick.
that's where he ended up, and I think he's now a massive priority that we've got to trade out. Obviously, Gold Coast have the bye this
Timing's
week. So,
right.
and his, I guess his money making is thwarted now because of that.
The timing's right. The forward options aren't, though.
No, well, that's right.
The
We've got a
trade
couple up the
targets.
sleeve, but well, so Sexton can get my -3, and it is when people did say that Charlie Constable 2.0. It's very similar.
Yeah, I think they've nailed that.
And of course, who came on? Was it who subbed on?
Ratkins.
Oh, of course he has to have his
rat.
name in the mix of it. All right, my -3 goes to Hayden Young. Look,
Okay.
this was just very disappointing. 75, and I'm starting to question whether he was the walk-up pick that we all thought. So
He got a free ride.
he did. He certainly got a free ride. We were very excited about the way he finished last year in his new midfield role. We wanted, 95 weekly minimum.
Yeah, the midfield role was still there.
It is there, but he just doesn't, I don't know.
So he had 72% CBAs.
Yep.
It's more than last week.
Yeah.
So he had 59 last week, but remember he did move back in the last quarter,
Yeah.
which brought that
Yeah.
number down. But yeah,
So I don't know. I obviously just going to leave him there, but 75, I was very disappointed. Dog, -3. Hopefully that's a little rocket.
so a Fremantle player, and that's who you gave it to. Youngie, who'd you give yours to?
Oh,
Cow?
see, Fifey, right? Right.
Oh, we didn't
Now-
see this one coming.
And that's the thing we did. We were like in a game where, the results all done and dusted. Fifey was doing well.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, he was on track for an 80 or whatever he was going to get. But, yeah, we just knew that this was going to happen at some point. And I'm in the vest because of it.
Do you know what I'm uncomfortable with in what you're saying there?
What's that?
You say we. You had an argument with us two about it. You said the prize bull is finally back up and about. Why wouldn't you let him just run it out? Because he's feeling good, his body's good.
I said I didn't have a good weekend, really.
Definitely did it. Now, the top scorer of the week was 1986. That's Matt Slabinar's Emu Experts, James's team there. Not a bad score, but I guess
score.
what's out of that, Roy, it's only 100 odd more than what we got.
Well, that's true. 100 though, man. Every
Yeah.
week it's only 100 someone's putting on our heads.
The
But
elephant keeps growing.
it's a big elephant.
The overall leader is Robert's team, Cy Ops, with 4,147 points. Now, I don't like doing the maths on how far behind I am there because it's probably impossible for me to eat that elephant now. That's not good. But the top 100 is in reach, and at 100th, Shane O's legend. So well done, Shane.
Hang in there.
He's got 4,065 points. There's actually a bit of a group of them there. Some very good team names floating around when you do click on the rankings, so go and have that. Some of them probably can't totally repeat here.
No.
They slip
One I
through,
did like
slip
up there.
through the filter.
Oh no, it's just the we're not here to ruck spiders. Is a good one. I did like that one up.
It's not
That's
bad.
in the top 10.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Anyway, that's where we are. Hard Soldo. I didn't mind that one.
That's
Hey,
good.
That's
That's a
good.
good one too. I really like
made-
that one.
Updated the image as well. So well done, Scott, in 102nd overall.
That's cool.
We
Hope
do
he
like
gets
to
a
see
hat.
that people do actually put their teams in, put a little picture. That's what it's.
Of course.
That's what's
You do
nice
like
about it.
pictures, yes.
Right, votes are in for the Michael Barlow medal. That's our cash cow of the year for round 2. And Harvey Thomas, he got the 5 votes. He's had a couple of modest games with scores of just 18 and 35. But his cash generation has been kickstarted with a triple-figure score. His 100-point game came from 21 disposals, 4 marks, 8 tackles and a goal.
We can rely on Matt Roberts as an on-field scorer in the midfield week to week because of his role. So half-backs are fantasy gold, and his 85 got him the 4 votes this week.
Zane Dersma also finished on 85 and claimed the 3 votes. He took 11 marks and added 48k to his price.
We got a full game out of Riley Sanders this
Yeah.
week. He grabbed the 2 votes for his 22 touches and 5 tackles. That has him in my best 18 and plenty of others with his score of 78.
After 3 games, Blake Howes is now worth $369,000.
Wow.
He secured the 1 vote for his 78 points. I'm liking his work, and he will stay in Melbourne's lineup as they've got plenty of injuries down back.
Leaderboard has Matt Roberts there on top with 11 votes. Colby McKercher, Blake Howes and Harvey Thomas have 5 each.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
Few issues out of the weekend that concern us as fantasy coaches, and I guess as well the on-flowing effect of those is a big part of it. So going right back to Thursday night, Mason Wood, that was brutal for him.
that was bad.
Collarbone and concussion there.
Double whammy.
It was horrible.
And Liam Henry missing 6 weeks as well with his hammy. So some positives, I guess, out of that.
I saw you, Dimple.
Well, this is the thing. Last week, you blokes stitched me up and I got the boner, got Bonner
How
into my
did he
team.
not get your -3?
Yeah, because he didn't get in my 18. Is that why? He probably should have done. That was, you want instant reward from a trade.
You
and
do.
That. And watching that, he had a couple of issues and I was,
Bit worried.
He
wasn't
basically
good,
had
so-
2 quarters he didn't score.
Well, he was 0
Yeah.
in the first quarter.
Yep.
And then what was it, 30?
Welcome to my team.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
0.
37 maybe in the second.
Yeah, so it was beast. It was
yeah.
good, and that's what we
Yeah, it
got him
was
for.
good.
But yeah, he had a couple of issues and a couple of turnovers as well, and I think that's probably a good point to say here. I was a bit worried about job security. Those 2 injuries.
Oh, morning.
Also, Ross was actually
true.
all right about it.
Just say a couple of little errors by Bonner, the smother and the turnover both ended up in goals. Do you counsel him on that, or are you happy for him to keep?
Yeah, I
taking
showed him, mate.
chances?
Yeah, 98. So I showed him, mate, the game went for 100 minutes. I don't know, maybe he had 20. So he had the ball in his hands for a minute. 2 of those seconds you buggered up, but the other 98 minutes we're pretty happy with. That's the way we coach, right? I sent a message, don't go back in the show. We got you here for your run and your kick. And when I spoke to him in person, could have time or whatever, half time, he lit up, he smiled. So we don't want to kick him because you're going to make errors. Grand final, though, come on, there was lots of errors. It's the ability to persist and show resilience, and I thought he did that tonight remarkably well. Do you know what I mean? Errors, it's a game of imperfection.
Clutching at straws there for the Warn Dogs, but
No,
I'll take that. I think it's
That's
positive.
bloody good coaching, and he will be better for it. He will come out kicking again.
And I will challenge him that I don't think it was quarter time that it would
No.
have been all smiles. It would have
No.
been half time after he
Definitely.
touched the ball.
I hope Bevo listened to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, that's
Could
a good
learn
point.
something.
But I don't think Ross has always coached that way. But I think
He's
that's
changed.
outstanding. And I think Bonner, I'm fully confident he's not going 90 plus this week now.
I'm with you,
after
Roy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You beauty.
Yeah,
We
you'd be
need
happy
it.
with that, dog.
Right, Dangerfield, hamstring on Friday night. Happened right at the end of the game. So even to the point where they hadn't brought on their sub, Nevitt, who was
Why
a late
did
in
they?
there. But yeah, like it was, they could have got, like, he didn't have to even come on. Because it was that
definitely
late.
not. Yeah, it was like a
and so
minute.
it was like a cramp sort of thing, but it sounds like it could be a bit more than that. We'll see what that looks like. There were a couple of late withdrawals in that game. Tanner Bruin had a bit of a foot issue. Mitch Duncan as well because his wife had a baby.
Oh,
So
did he? There you
that's
go.
why. And Atkins as well. They were all out of the side, so they had a bit of a mix-up in that one. Now, Darcy Parish was also a laid out on the Friday. I think they named that up then, that he would not be playing because of that hammy, the trip to Sydney. So should be right for this week. Speaking of subs, though, Cal, your mate Fifey.
Yeah.
No good.
It's a concern.
What was the thinking behind the Fife sub?
Just save his legs. Yeah. We're on 6-day break. He had a bit of a tight back that he was managing in game, and as soon as I saw him getting work on it at 3/4 time, asked him the question, and he was open to it. We had a midfielder on the bench in Jager, so it seemed like a really obvious swap.
What do you mean he was open to it?
Jeez, I hope that
Because
back heals this week.
Fifey runs the show. You got to keep the prize bull happy.
Imagine that. You want to get subbed off? Well, I guess I'm open to it. So is that a yes or a not?
He would have approached it nicer than that. You've looked amazing out there.
Yeah, really good.
We've got a really tight turnaround. We really need you next week. Would you mind if... I'll just do it.
How you feeling about that 6-day break?
It's a concern moving forward. Yes.
Maybe
Calvin
starts in the green vest. Or just has a rest.
He'll never do that, I don't think.
Where are their travel games coming up?
Oh dear, he's open to it. You've opened a can of worms on him now. He's
just assume he's always all right with it. He was all right with it last week. Don't ask him anymore.
D's have got a couple of issues there. He was subbed out, I think, wasn't he, in the end, with those ribs. And Lever had a bit of a knee issue too. So a couple of their big boys down back. Probably good for Howes. I think his job security was all right anyway, but now that would keep him in there.
Good for Marty Hall, huh?
As long as he doesn't have to play too defensively.
Yeah,
but,
Marty Hall
that's
was
what he's in for anyway.
The sub.
Yeah,
as well. So
he'll lose that. This week.
Ed Richards concussed. Now at the start of that game though, Caulfield, 2 points. Now that's brutal. You got
bad.
a 44-point game from him last week, which was not what you wanted. Went up a little bit in value, but you needed something more than that. And 2 points, absolutely.
I mean, it's devastating. You're lucky it was the best 18.
Week
though, like you can hide behind.
And that's
that
the thing,
least.
like people are getting away with that, Roy. I feel, and
that is massively.
And Dog's a best 18 guy.
Yeah,
Whereas that's not my kind of scene.
So his price is now $334, and he's actually down $24K for the season. So he went down $27K because of those 2 points.
That's unlucky.
That's brutal. You're going to have to do obviously something with that because he won't be playing.
No. At least he's not like a basement price guy, though. You've got wiggle room. You can look at going up or down. Not that there's many options down.
No, you need to find a few dollars, I reckon, on that one to see what you can do. Lockie Jones, Cow, you had your peepers on that one.
I did, and it looked like a big, fat, black calf.
Oh.
Yep. It looked really,
So
really
it was
bad.
a cork? He didn't just pull it badly?
I think it was a cork, but it looked bad.
It wasn't an actual baby cow.
It was not a baby cow inside of his calf.
Oh, God.
But it could have been, Roy. I wasn't quite sure.
MRO, Max King, they accepted that, didn't they?
I think
I believe so.
Oh, hang on. No, I think they've got until today.
Oh, do they?
Yep. Don't know if they've accepted it or not.
Yeah, right.
Maybe by the time you listen to it, you'll know. 2 metre Peters going straight to the tribunal there after being a bit too tough. The
Essendon.
He's unlucky.
Essendon way.
Unlucky.
He is
in a
unlucky
sense, because
with
it
what
was
he got.
a split second.
He's unlucky that they got like brainwashed that they're tough now.
Yeah.
And he had to go out and do something tough.
The enforcer.
Why'd they do that to him?
He was just going for the ball and then turned at the last second. Yeah.
Oh, you've just done him.
Oh,
Trial by media. You've cooked him.
You don't have to watch it to see that. Now, Magoo's news. We've got our first VFL round underway, and Jack McRae.
Oh, boy.
147 fantasy points, 47 disposals, 17 kicks, 30 handballs, 7 marks, 4 tackles.
It goes to show
That's
there's
enough
a bit
of
of a difference.
A
isn't
fair
there?
bit. Yeah, probably didn't have enough hit outs for Bevo's liking, but
Probably.
He comes in, does he?
He has to.
Well, come on. What more could you do?
Well,
you
that's
might
it.
as well just tell him to sit the season out if you're going to play him in the Magoos and he does that.
Yep.
Bevo might
What's
just
the
seem
whole
like for
point of
for
it?
Caulfield.
Oh, potentially. Wouldn't be surprised if he came in with a vest, via a vest, to be
Potentially.
honest.
Yep.
See how much he kept his chin and head
Yep.
erect.
As a test.
Test him.
Yep.
Yeah.
We need to see a couple of other big scores there in the VFL. Ari Schoenmaker had 139 points, 34 disposals and 13 marks there. The St Kilda draftee. His mate, though, Hugo Garcia, 101. So he might be one to watch as well. 14 tackles. If they're wanting some tackling pressure in the team, 13 disposals, 14 tackles, and a goal there for that 101. Now, Joel Jeffrey, they flagged him possibly playing a little bit of halfback for Gold Coast.
Okay.
So he had 142 thanks to 34 disposals, 11 marks and a goal.
Step aside, Buderick.
Yeah, James Cheetahs, 137 he had, 32 disposals part of that, 10 marks, 7 tackles, just epic stat lines.
Yeah.
It's not NEFL, it's VFL now.
Yeah.
So the other one to watch, and it could be one of our downgrade targets in the midfield, is Kane McAuliffe. So he had 116 there for the Tigers in the Magoos. 31 disposals, 6 marks, 3 tackles and a goal. Sonzi also had a ton there. So depending on what they're going to do, like Tigers are going to have to do a little bit of
Something,
aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
They weren't awful against Port.
No, they put up a fight for a bit.
But,
I don't know. Gosh, tough gig there, I reckon, at the moment.
Yeah, you can check out all the VFL news and information at afl.com.au and watch the games as well, which is always good to get your eyes on that. Cal, that's almost what you might need to do to go and find the blokes that are going to cover some of your bye players.
I think I'm going to need to, Dog, yes.
Which is the big issue of the week. We've got our next bye, so we have Brisbane and Carlton coming off the bye. They had that last week, and we got through pretty well unscathed on that.
100%.
Most teams probably just had the one player in Zach Williams and nice little Howells.
Covered by 78.
It's pretty solid, and that would have gone into most 18s, I reckon.
That's more than Williams has scored in any of his games, isn't it?
Correct. Is it? Yeah, it must be close.
I think it is.
Anyway, so this week we have Gold Coast and GWS on the bye. So the popular players as such, and these are the names. Let's start with GWS because that's where it mostly is. Green and Whitfield. You blokes have got both of them.
Guilty.
Yes. I've got Witt, no Green, which is probably why I'm ranked where I am, but they'll be missing this week. Toby Green, and then you've got a couple of cows there in Cadman, who was solid. I think he kicked 3 goals on the weekend.
Yep.
And Harvey Thomas, who he did have that ton and grabbed the 5 votes in the Michael Barlow medal.
Harvey.
So they will be missing. They're sort of the popular ones there as well with what you've got. And then for Gold Coast, Sam Flanders is right up there. But also, you might have had one of those mids, a few uniques there with a Took or a Noah Anderson or a Matt Rao. And then Sexton and Buderick were the cheap guys that are floating there. So I guess the question is, hold trade, what are you trying to do in this? What is the strategy? What is the theory around it?
When I started the season, I thought, I've been starting at about 30K after round 1 and 2 in recent years, and I thought this year I'm going to ignore the buys to some extent when you've got the class of Green and Whitfield, and especially because Whitfield's first game was going to send his price going the right way. I thought I'll grab them too with every intention of trading if required come this round.
Yeah.
Now I'm in two minds because Green, if I trade him, like he could go straight to the form player of the comp Sarong sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you could do that. But when am I ever getting Green back?
Well, you're not, are you?
And he looks bloody outstanding. I don't know if I can watch every week knowing I owned him and now I don't. And he keeps up this unreal form that he's in. So I'm going to hold Green. Whitfield, he was going to be my whipping boy.
Yep.
Take his cash and run. However, he is looking so good as well that I'm actually starting to get cold feet at trading Whitfield. Now, I could cover him with Howes like last week.
Yep.
And I've only got 2 midfield rookies at the moment, so just chuck 3 on and cover Green.
And that's good because most people are probably rocking with 3 these days.
Yes, so that could be done. So now I'm in a boat, Warnie, where I might even hold both.
Yeah, and I don't mind that because I think, like you said, Whitfield can be covered by Howes. He might be 20 points
100%.
less than what you were
more.
expecting there. Green, there's a fair gap between that. But the midfield rookie that you're putting on is going to be better than any other position. And,
Yes.
and someone might pop something for you.
Someone might pop something. Yeah, exactly. But Cal...
And then you're going to be feeling good because this is the moving forward to that round 4
where
we've got our best 22
and I'm
back.
going to need them all rolling out. Yeah. So, Cal, I might give you a little +2 handball. 'cause
Okay.
You've probably put a bit more thought into this than me because you've got Flanders as well.
Put more thought into it.
Or you're gonna
now
need
you have to put some thought into it because I don't think you put thought into it before you.
Okay.
Peanut.
You're right.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of thought into it.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got Green and Whitfield, but I'm happy to cover them with Howes and Sharpies on my bench for
Yeah.
Green. Okay. But then I've got Flanders as well.
Yeah.
And Sexy.
Yeah, sorry, I've got
So I've got 4 on-field players,
Yes.
I guess. So obviously Sexton can go because he's done his dash anyway.
Yeah.
So
Not
that's an
offering
easy one.
anything.
No,
Yeah.
so that can go. But I'm with you. Like Whitfield was always going to be the whipping boy after those 2 games, 2 great matchups, West Coast and North. But now I've tasted the pie
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's good pie, isn't it?
I don't want to throw it away.
I think he could average well over 100.
So do I. But
If you only just got 100 against that good matchup against
that's
West
right.
Coast,
Yeah,
that's
but you know what? Is that a good matchup for him? I think that's not an exciting matchup.
he wants it
for him.
harder so
Yeah,
that he can get the ball.
I think so.
So it's a big concern for me this week. And there you go. Do I take a hit this week? Whereas in round 4, Cow gets back to his best 22, and that's my game.
Yeah.
Right? Not this best 18 rubbish dog.
I'll be quite happy for you to take a hit this week again.
Well, this is the thing as well, though.
couple of big bites of the
and I can
elephant.
keep sharing the little images.
So one thing I felt like we handbrake ourselves a little bit with over the years is since this 2 trades a week,
Yes.
we say we're prepared to take a hit a little bit too
much
often.
Yep.
And sometimes points on the board, once they're there, they're hard to get back on people.
Yep.
So it's really finding that mix between taking a hit and
Yep.
still staying on the attack. So I'm not sure what the answer is at the moment.
I think at this point, Green stays and Whitfield goes, and which I'm not a big fan of. But
No.
I think at the moment that's where I'll be.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to also get rid of Flanders, who only had like an 87 on the weekend. But who does Flanders go to?
Yeah.
I can't go to the Weasel because he's got the bye coming up.
You only get 2 more weeks out of Heaney now. That's why you just can't really do it.
Yeah, you never know what Heaney would do.
Yes, you do. Dominate. Jump on.
He's going to have to be in
head.
captains this week, isn't he, Roy?
Chuck
I'm
him
going to
in
have to
there.
write about him.
So in general, basically, Sexton's the only one that should be moved on, and that's in our opinion, with that forward
Yes.
role that he had to play. That may not be there going forward either, though. Like, who
So
knows,
how
he
many
might
years
revert
is-
back? But
Sexy Time's been in the system like 12 years, hasn't he?
yeah, he's
He's a
30
veteran.
odd.
Veteran.
And as a forward, he's averaged like what?
40?
40.
No, not much.
No, you
50,
joke about
yeah.
it, but I think it actually is
Yeah.
a couple of years of 40s.
And that's on a good year.
You just cannot have him.
He's
And
gotta go.
But he wasn't scoring well enough even in that game as a defender.
No, you're right.
So that's the other side of it. So
we always pick a player like that.
cash
we always
growth is stunted.
Yeah.
We just
He's gone up in
have to move.
value. Let's call him a success story.
Yeah.
He got it through to his buys.
Yes.
Buderick's the other one there. If you didn't jump off last week, if 25 wasn't bad enough for you, like he had a 61, so it's a pretty good
bounced-
improvement.
Bounced back.
But he has to go as well, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, for sure.
Whatever you can do that. Some of the other names that players that we probably need the issues of the week of trading out. Caulfield needs to go, and that sucks where his price is now. You've got to be trying to get up to something.
Could people just play Howes on ground in that D6 spot? Just for now?
Well,
Yeah.
for now, you could keep whipping it.
Yep.
But
couldn't
then
you?
what have you got sitting on your pine?
Well-
Any cash generation going on there?
Probably not.
Oh, Pinky got, what did he get? 49 or something, wasn't it?
He should have got in the
See, that's the thing as
Michael
well.
Barlow medal, mate.
So if we trade Whitfield this week, would have him just sitting on the bench, and he's been hitting 70s.
yeah.
It just
Yep.
feels like a bit of a waste.
It does.
It's like what he's there for.
Averaging 73.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it is.
Duke Nukem, that was another brutal
Oh, man.
nail. Like, if you thought, oh, hold the faith with him, you got a 60 put on your head,
Well,
wasn't
like
it?
I can hear the voice in his coach's head. You researched all preseason. You landed on him for a reason.
Yep.
Everyone can have a stinking round.
Yep.
And then give him another go, and he just burnt you again.
68.
No one deserves that. But it's time to rethink your preseason and get off.
He's got to go.
He does.
Rethinking preseasons, Hayden Young sat in our
Ah.
teams without any thought. Is there do you jump off, or does he just need not a North Melbourne type matchup?
Maybe. He just had a bad game.
I think, for me, I think you can sort of sit behind. Everyone's got him.
Yeah.
Yes, some good coaches will move off him, but surely you can just roll it.
I think so. There's far worse. He'll be better than that. It's not like he's regressed as a player.
No.
He'll be back.
So he's actually got 2 red teams on the scale in the next 3.
Who's he got? Port Adelaide.
So he goes Adelaide, Carlton, Port.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Turned up against Port in that Pracky game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Duke Newcomb got 137 in a Pracky game.
There you go.
We've talked enough about sexy. What about Wines, Roy? So this is a big story on Friday. That was one of those late changes as well, where you saw Jason Horne-Francis out with a hammy.
Yeah.
Little tweak apparently at training, which made Wines.
Yeah, because he was obviously my number one trade out guy.
Yeah.
And then I thought I'd better keep him because as much as I regretted starting him, obviously at the expense of Crouch too, it's pure stupidity.
Yep.
But I thought I better give him a go, given that he was going to be more like the banana that we heard about in the preseason. Because Hornbag, he had a heap of CBAs that round one game, obviously at the expense of Wines, who we thought was going to be in there, but he took his CBAs up, dog.
Yeah, 46% up to 64%.
So it happened.
And it did happen, and that's what we saw. However, at half-time, Roy, there was a bit of a dummy spit. We had some direct message dummy spits, but also you had to deploy a rocket.
I did.
Oh, your rockets were on point.
They were on point.
34 points he had at half-time.
Not enough. That's
No.
after a 24-point first quarter too.
Yep.
Just off the top of my head, wasn't tracking it closely or anything.
Okay.
But to have a 10-point second quarter, that I didn't want to deploy one, but
Yeah.
had to. And 54-point second half, good recovery.
Yeah, well done.
But it's not something I want to be doing every week.
No.
Having to waste my energy worrying about this fine wines that's not aging well.
Aging.
Now, dog, someone...
So, 54 points. That's a solid half.
Bloody oath it
That's
is.
enough to go.
Yeah. It's a
I'll
worthy
keep
rocket.
him.
I tell you what, I was stressed. There was about 4 minutes left and he had gone to the bench for the second time in the last quarter, the big fitness unit. And I was like, oh, no, that's the end of him. But he came on and junked a little bit, thankfully. Very good. Now, dog, I've had a couple of requests of a name that people want on the issues list this week.
Who's that?
Nick Dacos.
Oh, well.
Good one.
You're not trading him. You can't, but far out. That was not good.
He deserves a whack, doesn't he?
He does.
He done, yeah.
So, we're all a massive fan of Nick Dacos.
Love him.
He is just elite and so good to watch. But can I just pose a quick question? If he was drafted to West Coast, would he be like a top 5 Brownlow guy? Would he be this human highlight reel that he is within, a team capable of winning the ball and getting it to him and stuff like that? Just a little question.
Are you saying he wouldn't get the support that he does?
I don't know. Would he get the ball that he does if he was relying on
Others.
like the Eagles boys to get it out in a losing team?
No.
He's fallen in a very nice situation.
Yes.
Jeez, this sounds like a bit of a dagger out. Destroy.
Well, people are asking for some form of rocket from me, and I'm not going to be too harsh, but that's the way to get at players with a rocket, a little niggle like that.
So
there's a rocket for him.
So he's got Brisbane this week.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then he will get Finn McGuinness the week after.
Jeez, we'll get him cheap.
So Finn
What,
McGuinness.
60, wasn't it?
Yep. And Finn went to Clayton Oliver and was pretty nasty.
He was.
Yeah.
So the thing is with him now, and obviously captain hindsight and taking on the risk is what a lot of coaches have done over half the competition. I think started with him.
Yep. 55%.
But on the weekend, that wasn't supposed to be one of the flag games.
So he dropped 33K off that because a week's a long, long time in fantasy footy.
Yes.
In footy in general. But he dropped that. And so people were going, $1 million man, $1 million man.
Yeah.
And then he's back down
And
to
it doesn't get any
964.
easier.
No, it doesn't.
He's got 2 weeks of pain before a rest.
So he's 40K more than Whitfield. And he has got a break even of 143 now.
Straight shot for Williams coming up soon, Roy.
That's a rocket.
That's a rocket, all right.
Now, speaking of Williams, he's coming off his bye. Carlton probably don't have many targets at all for us.
No.
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 So, Williams, we keep rolling him. I guess, while we can there. But for Brisbane, there are a couple of players that are worth flagging or mentioning because Brisbane have really not been on our fantasy radar because of their early buy, but now they can be, I guess. Dane Zorko has gone 99 and 105.
Like how many times?
And there's no forward premiums.
I know, that's a joke, isn't it? Because he borderline has to be considered for that. However, I am saying no. We do not do it.
No.
Don't flirt with the idea.
No.
Zorko, he's a walking injury.
What about in the midfield then? Dunkley, 104, 126 in his 2 games so far.
It's a good start for Dunks.
Yeah, good player.
I just wouldn't go there
at
the moment. I'm not excited by Brisbane at the minute.
No.
Yep. All right. Well, let's have a quick look at some of the key players that we could be picking up then. In defence, Massimo D'Ambrosio is probably the real number 1 dude.
Has to get a tick for value.
Massively.
Can't go back-to-back 90s at that price, racking up and be ignored. It's a play, without a doubt. It's an up or down play.
And he hasn't probably even increased as much as what he could have yet.
No,
so he's
on.
in a pretty good position for that. So basically what's he up now? He's up altogether $83,000. So you get him $550 for a dude that has knocked out scores of 94 and 96. Like you can't get really asked for much more than that in a system that's sort of working for him to do that as well.
Big time. The ball's back there, and they're happy to use him on the way out before it comes straight back down. He would have to be your number 1 Caulfield play.
Yep.
You have to scrounge around.
Like I could, you could, but I couldn't sell a Hayden Young for him, for example.
No.
Like that would make me just feel a little bit icky because
it
does come down. Like D'Ambrosio's not going to average 90 for the year, is he?
No, but he could go 85 plus.
He could.
And make a fair bit of cash.
It's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
The other one that I like the look of as well is Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller. Obviously epic on the weekend. Was great last year, but he's just so hungry for the ball.
Yes.
And that's what we want in a fantasy player.
Yeah, and they'll turn around to give it to him because he's so good. So they want it in his hands as much as we do.
So he had 11 marks, 32 touches, 25 of them were kicks.
Yeah. Top 6 defender, Roy?
Definitely in the mix. At the moment, he would be in there, yes.
All right, what about in the midfield? The one that we missed, and we can bang on about our wines that we didn't like. But
come on.
It was Matt Crouch who was the one to pick, and we were a little bit worried about that from the get-go when Berry was named.
Yeah.
That was our flag, or that was the thing that scared us off.
Talk about jumping at shadows that last week. So what was it? We heard Wines was going to be number 1 CBA guy.
Big banana.
And we saw Berry come in for Adelaide, and we had an absolute panic. Well, Crouch has given us what we deserve for that.
Yeah.
Like, he's looking outstanding.
111.5 average. Now, Berry was subbed in that game, so is that the end of him?
Yes, it is.
It's a good sign.
Yep.
They've lost both games.
So Crouch, despite he's gone up 53K there, so he's looking
still
very
a bargain.
Yeah, so
37 touches he had. Like that's McRae-like, Roy.
Yeah, like he still had under 75% time on ground.
Yep.
He just doesn't mess around when he's out there.
No.
He's racking. That's
in
all he's doing.
16% of teams now, up the 57K in total. So at 791, that's still value.
It's huge value still.
So you could be doing it, no buys, yada yada.
Yeah.
How would you be doing it, and where would it be from? Would it be a sideways from Wines, which is not so much a sideways, but you have to spend a little bit now? It would have been at the start of the season.
But it's a significant upgrade.
Yeah.
It's a guy you're crossing fingers, toes, everything to hit 80 compared to a guy who's rolling 37 possessions.
A no-brainer from a Newcomb.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer from a Newcomb.
Yep.
It's a potential jump up from Boner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few dollars there in that.
There is.
What do you need? Near 300 for that, I think.
You'd have to do a bit of switcherooing, but
250 or so. Yeah.
I looked at it.
Right, in the ruck, probably not much to talk about here. We talked up our ex-Harry last week, and that was the move from Grundy. The Grundy stuff, though, was probably just a break even. If you held him, you're okay with it. If you trade him, you're definitely okay with it.
Yeah.
So would you still do it now to go to ex-Harry? I guess you could.
I guess you could.
A luxury sort of move now.
It sounds silly, but Xeri got to his 100 a lot easier than Grundy got to his 90.
Yeah.
It was hard work. His coaches were exhausted. You just had to look at the Twitter feed.
He's like a battering ram in there too, which I think that's why he's given away all those free kicks.
Yes.
Not as many this week.
Yeah. No, so, I mean, Grundy did well. 90's a great score. Would you still do it? Oh, you kind of wouldn't. You don't have the sour taste of a 50 in your mouth now. You'd probably just be happy looking at the 90 and carry on elsewhere.
With probably 95% of the competition, whatever you got in your rucks, you might as well just stick with.
I think
at
so.
the moment. That's almost what it's like, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the forward line, we would all love to have Isaac Heaney, but we all can't get him. We ain't. But the premiums are hard to look at. We'll be targeting Flanders sometime after his bye.
Yep. Jackson's hurting us all. All us coaches that are waiting on Darcy.
Darcy back.
Jackson's getting it done while the weight is on.
Darcy was so good, and I think Freo know that too now. Like, that's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out after Darcy signed a 20-year contract in the off-season.
I know.
The one that we are really keen on, or I definitely am, and that is Powell.
Powell.
He scored 113 on the weekend, so it was a great game for him with a couple of goals, but 28 touches. He had 78 in the first round, and his price is heading in the right direction, but I think the key is that we look at his centre bounce attendances. He is their banana.
He is. He's the big banana.
So he was spoken about in the preseason, but no one had the confidence to launch. I remember words like going to have to wait and see roll and things like that. Well, we've seen 2 weeks of it, and the roll is 100%.
93% of their CBAs on the weekend, backing up from 76% the week before.
Why that spike? That's as good as anyone in the competition.
So Charlie Lazaro was subbed out, so he had a drop in his because he went at 53% in round one.
Yeah.
Jai Simpkin came back into the team though as well, so he got 31% of the CBAs. It's just basically his LDU was 83, so LDU has basically been 88 and 83. He really is the banana.
Yes.
But Tom Powell is definitely right next to him on that bunch.
That's amazing. So on the roll alone and the 2 scores and playing the break-even game and the lack of forwards, he has to be 100% in your thoughts. Especially when you got so many of us have sexy time.
Yep.
Sitting there.
That's the move that I think a lot of coaches are making. That's what I did with my little rage trades last night, which might sit through for the week.
Fair call.
All right, let's have a look at the most popular players that have been traded in and out of sides so far. So early doors, but what we've got the most traded in play is Massimo D'Ambrosio. It's that cheap defender at $550K. Tom Powell is second on the list. Matt Crouch, Caleb Sarong. People are happy to pay well over $1 million for him. And then Toby Pinkcow.
Yeah.
Have you got Pinky yet?
No, I don't.
Oh, join the club.
You should have started with him.
I know. I should have done a lot of things.
Anyway, the most traded out players, Alex Sexton. So people are definitely not happy with that 49 points. And he's got the bye, so he's gone. Caulfield's injured, and John Newcomb, he was up in this list last week, and he's up here again. He's number 3 with Hayden Young. And also then Lockie Whitfield. So this is the interesting move because Tom Green is next most traded.
Oh,
He's
wow.
number 6 on the list. So people
are going
jumping
bang,
off
bang.
the buy players. And I guess that takes us into where our moves are. And I am going to move on Lockie Whitfield to Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller, and that also gets me Sexton to Tom Powell. So
don't mind
that's where I am. I'm in 2 minds about Whitfield, though, but that's where it's sitting at the moment.
Yes.
I'm copying you.
Are you?
Warnie.
Exactly the same.
Because you had such a good week, Warren. I'm like,
that's how it's working,
If
is
you
it?
can't beat him, join him. Yes, I am going Sexton to Powell and Whitfield at the moment to Wanganeen-Miller.
So since writing this, I'm going cold and thinking about holding Whitfield. But at the moment, I'm trading him. So I'm going Sexton to Powell, joining everyone with that one.
Yep.
But I'm going Whitfield to Massimo D'Ambrosio, and that would also give me like 400.
Wouldn't it ever?
K next week to.
What's
I've
the
got
plan?
plenty of stuff
Maybe to launch
needs
into
patching up.
Flanders, for example.
That's
from
what
one of
I was
those-
thinking because my forward line, like a lot of people, is hideous.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
All right, gents, plenty of questions through. Now, Max has got this one. Love your work, fellas. Hope Cow had a good snooze. Now, do you think It's too much of a restructure to go Young to D'Ambrosio and then Newcombe to Dunkley. Can afford any premium, though. So happy to suggest a better option than Dunkley.
Yeah, I tick this off as a good way to fix up using that value of Young to Massimo. Now, I wouldn't go to Dunkley. I can see why he's an option.
Yep.
But he's not even number one banana there. You are paying up. I know his form's been good, but what happens when Neil comes back? Do we just see what we saw last year where neither of them were really fantasy relevant? I'd chase one of a safer premium.
Well, Butters is cheaper than a Dunkley. You prefer him, yeah?
He said he could get anyone too, didn't he?
Yeah. So do you just go?
I'd go to the top.
Rosie's the same price.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go as high as you can. Sarong.
Do you still try to hunt some value as such?
Well, the value's still there.
Isn't it? Someone like
no, not
someone like Steele is proven to be value.
Everyone's got Steele though.
Here's another one. I just get really stubborn with a couple of
your
these.
team.
I'm just not around.
Was that 1 week swag worth it?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was.
He's so with Steele, for example, he has to be put forward as a great trade target. I was getting worried in the third quarter. He started to show Steele of old signs just for a 10-minute period of not really looking interested in calling for the ball, just jogging to the next stoppage. His tackles dried up after laying a massive 8 tackles or something in the first half. But then in the fourth quarter, he's got back to, that 120 type Steele. So, yeah, he's an option.
Alexander, I've got a few headaches this week. Whitfield I've benched for Williams and I benched Sexton for Wilson. Do I trade Green and Flanders for Sarong and Butters? Just getting rid of the 2 big boys there. So I'd be wanting to get rid of Sexton before any of them.
Yep.
And trying to do something with that. And I'd trade Whitfield before Green, definitely.
Yes.
But Flanders, maybe. You might as well just stick with Flanders.
What's Flanders price doing now?
So he's at 844 at the moment, and he would have, he went up 9K.
And what's his breakout?
94.
Right.
So it's about what he's at,
he's just fairly priced at the minute, isn't he?
But that's the thing. If you get rid of Flanders, who do you go to?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Unless you were going down.
To Powell or something for now.
But then, tough one. Andy's got 2 to go out. Newcombe, Viney, Amon and Sexton. Viney we haven't mentioned yet, but that was a bit brutal.
What did he do?
Not much, to be honest. No. And, he was quite a popular pod at the start of the year. So, he's someone that you really want to get rid of. So, Viney, Newcombe,
Amon and Sexton. And Andy does say he's leaning towards Newcombe and Viney. I guess there's some more dollars on their heads to do stuff with.
True.
So Viney had a 60, Amon an 81.
And he will, you can at least say he will get defender status.
Priced at as well, I guess.
That would be a serviceable defender in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So you've got to get rid of the guys scoring 60s.
Yeah, get them out.
Yep.
Peter, g'day legends. Which trade? Not phased with the buy. Whitfield to D'Ambrosio and Sexton to Heaney.
Yes.
Or Whitfield to Nasiah and Sexton to Powell. So that's what I'm doing. Whitfield to Nasiah, Sexton to Powell.
I know you're not phased by the buy, but that's a more sensible buy.
It is. You still got Heaney on the buy, which is probably there with a couple of other players on that week. Although, not having Grundy now changes things. And Jordan probably goes on that buy as well.
He does.
Couple of weeks' time.
And who's that with? That's shared with the Pies, isn't it?
Yes.
So, I mean, if you've got Nick Dacos in your team, that's something to think about as well.
Cameron, with my first buy issue coming in, should I focus on trading out Green and Flanders or cop the loss and fix other problems? Caulfield, for example, currently top 4K. Nice work, Cam. Good start. I think you fix other issues like Caulfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Green, you should be able to cover with a 70. I know that's almost 50 points that you're losing out on there, but...
Gosh, what is the right play here?
Well, I'm just thinking that myself. I nearly feel
What's the point of dropping down to 10K because you hold?
I nearly feel
10K be awesome.
Nearly need to be aggressive.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm swinging in my thinking here.
Changing.
And then worry about the rest next week.
Oh, dear. I'd love to be bringing in, if I got rid of Green and Whitfield,
Yeah.
and bringing in a Sarong and a Wangadeen Miller. You know, they're definitely counting him at 18. You know, whereas,
And then the problem is next week, we're best 22.
Yep.
And you've still got Sexton,
Yeah, do I worry about that next week?
maybe.
He could be back, tunning up this week, right?
Not enough 50.
He hasn't done it yet. Fish and Crips, rank these in order of priority.
All right.
Their trades. Wines, Bonner, Sexton, Young. I'm going to say Sexton.
Sexton's number one.
Yeah. I think Bonner's going to be good this week.
So do I.
If you could get him to someone, I'd prefer to trade him over Wines.
Fair call, I guess. Yeah.
And Young, I'm just okay to hold, I think.
I think I'm just thinking we hold Young.
I think Horn Francis is going to be another week as well. So
Young needs to bounce back this week, though.
Yep. Who's he got?
he's got Adelaide. It's a tough matchup. Bona has Essendon.
Yeah, so Bonus should be
Yeah, that's a ton.
Yeah, it
That's
should
a
be.
120.
Well, Matt Roberts was
legend
good.
this week.
Yeah.
Off the halfback. 85 he had.
Yep.
The problem is now he's like third in line back there as the...
Yeah. Well, you've got Sinclair
Distributor.
back, and Sinclair, what were his CBAs? Like, I feel like Sinclair was playing off halfback.
I think he floated through there a couple of times.
Sinclair did not go in the centre
There you
bounces
go.
at all.
So Wanganeen Miller was just the number one target back there.
Yep.
Sinclair's floating around,
Yep.
always in the mix, and then it was Bona found it hard to get amongst it.
Well, we found it hard in that first quarter, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Tim Rosen, why are all my premiums complete horse? Hey. How many of Dacos, Young and Bont can I rage trade?
Dacos.
I think you just hold your Dacos and Bont. Young
Same.
would be the one that you could move out of them. In saying that, I'm holding.
Yes, just stick with them all.
Is that our old man, old school attitude?
Well, should you get rid of Dacos then?
Because
His
he's got a
price
buy
is
coming up.
plummeting. His price is plummeting. He's got 2 hard games. He's going to get finned, and
And he's got a buy.
and he's got to buy. Do you trade Dacos all of a sudden? There's options there.
There he is.
There's players that are scoring, and their prices go in the opposite direction. You could go him to Massimo and fix something else.
Definitely.
Just play that break-even game.
Since you've been gone, has Caulfield and Sexton are the trade priorities.
Yeah.
100%.
Over Bonner and Fife.
Five.
Can't see Fife being subbed this week against bigger body Crows midfield. I think that's the thing. As much as I'd love it to happen to you, Calvin, I don't think Fife is getting subbed again.
Forgot about Fife.
I reckon his back's so sore he might not play this week.
That's
Yeah,
an
no.
issue.
That is an issue.
Backs suck.
No. Don't get that look off your face. He's fine.
Look at on your face.
I'm a little bit
you
more-
are scared.
Cow's face looked like Delhi then.
Challenge.
Now Bont. Can we have a little chat about Bont?
Yes. Yeah,
Another
definitely. We need
disappointing
to.
effort.
Yeah.
Another
This
disappointing.
is on your
It was.
head because you talked me into it.
Good. Look, this week, guess who he's got?
Who?
West Coast.
Yeah.
Surely.
Surely. Surely.
Sure.
They'll send someone to him at stoppage, and
Well, Yo did a bit of that to Tom Green.
he did.
Yep.
So did who's the other?
Jimby.
Jimby.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen. That's fine.
Yeah.
But surely he gets back to his 120s.
He needs to be honest. Like, we're going to stick with him. We just stick with Bond.
Yeah.
He's there as a big dog without a bye who has a nice draw coming up.
He does.
We just stick with it.
Yeah.
You're going to want him at the end. I think we just hold.
Yep.
We did talk about Grundy before, but Jake's got Grundy still. Can we go to X-Area and that gets Sexton to Powell?
Well, yes,
Yes.
you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I think you make about 50K on that Grundy to Xeri trade.
And it's still a little upgrade.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brad, think about Whitfield to Farrell. Now, he had a good game.
He did.
And
Was
then
good.
Sexton to Heaney.
Oh, I like that. I did say last week was the
Last week to get Heaney.
last week to get Heen, but
As long as you're feeling okay with that round as well,
yeah.
with your players.
Yes.
Like I said before, I reckon Jordan goes that week,
Yeah.
and you probably have minimal.
Yeah.
Dacos could be there.
It's just, God, the
Grundy.
rookies we've got on our ground in the forward line are bad, let alone the ones that are going to come on to cover
to cover. Yes. Well, you guys will slide that week.
Jake is a proud Setterfield owner. Are you all sleeping on him?
Well, yes.
I am, and I will continue to.
This happened this time last year as well, just remember.
But yeah, he's back to that big-bodied mid that the big, tough Bombers need.
He might keep it going for a bit longer.
Yeah. No, he's going well. Good on you. Great pod.
Great pick.
Zero interest from me, though.
Yep.
God, you say it so smugly. 'Cause it's listening.
Unintentionally. Tired.
The final call on Newcomb.
Out.
Out. Trade him. You can't
Stop
stick
doing
with
it to yourself.
That's
It's
it.
not fair. It's not fair to you.
That's it.
Sir Sweatalot, do I sideways trade Dacos to Sheasel?
See,
Yes.
why don't I have Sheasel?
Oh, my God.
Yes. I know.
How were you only 20-odd points within my
I don't
score
know.
this
You've
week?
got a good rank for someone who is so stubborn on a couple of the best
I
picks.
don't have Steele. I don't have Heaney. I don't have Sheasel. They're all 120s. And my little battlers just keep battling on.
Have you been...
No wonder you were
watching
so
footy.
angry.
Oh, so I had a horrible weekend. I could not. All of your players got 120s. And the only ones that I had that are different are like Flanders. Well done, mate. Thanks for your support. 80. All right? But as I said, I'm not a best 18 guy.
Remember this time last week, your swag.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it's like real life karma. Coming at you.
I've got nothing to add. I'm just flat.
Get Sheasel. Get Heaney. Enjoy life. It's as simple as that.
Matt wants to know, is Max Holmes an option? Probably didn't do enough on the weekend.
No, he did well to save himself with an 80, I think. I mean, you get him cheaper now than you will by the time he's available in the back line.
Yeah.
So it does have that. But
81.
I think there's better options at the minute.
Diane Pole says, Nasai Wanganeen or Sheasel?
Sheasel.
It's the Shees for me. I think you'll get more of a consistent output.
Agreed.
But I love them both.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Do we give Bonner another chance?
Yeah.
Riley Bonner?
He should be fine. But having said that, and I do think he'll be fine, I think he'll go 90-ish, 85 plus I'll give him. If you can trade him to a home run,
Yes.
might as well stop stuffing around and just
Agree.
get him to someone good.
Tell Mr. Bent he should be at school. Someone's commented. Logan. Here you go.
Well, what are you doing on your phone at school, mate?
Yeah, I'll get him tomorrow. Dead man walking.
Rightio. I think we've probably covered most of this, to be honest. Oh, this one's a good one. Butters versus Steele. Steele
it's
feels
Steele
safer.
for me, just.
I was going to say Butters.
Did
Yeah,
you see how
well,
good he was?
Yeah,
I don't
he's
think
a
you can go
machine.
wrong with any of them.
No, they're both elite.
Get them both.
Yep.
Do you have both, Cal?
No, I don't.
What he did in the preseason.
Yeah, had them all.
All right, that's
Anyway.
the podcast. We're heading into round 3, which is the Easter weekend of footy. So I guess the big things to know is that the times and things are all a little bit different for this weekend. We've got another Thursday night game, as we do for pretty much this whole year, just about. But Thursday night footy is 7:30 Eastern time, so that's 6:30 up in Queensland for Brisbane and Collingwood. But Friday we get the afternoon game, the 4:20 game.
I like that game.
Is North Melbourne and Carlton, Roy. They're
Okay.
playing there. And then later that night it is Fremantle and Adelaide. So the big things there, we won't know the Sunday teams until probably into the second quarter of the North Melbourne and Carlton game. So be aware of how you might need to shuffle your side. The other one is there is a Monday game, so it does finish with that Hawthorn and Geelong game at 3:20 on Monday. We won't know those teams until Sunday night.
Right.
Okay, so those teams won't. So that's
Hawthorn and Geelong.
anyone really there?
Yeah, huge concern really for me, like Manor and Clark. Clark's not a worry, but Manor in my forward line he's someone that sometimes has to hit the field through these bye periods.
Yeah. So be across that. That's how it's going to work. Stay tuned to afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app for all of our content. We've got the stock take on Wednesday, got Fantasy Ready on Thursday.
Yep.
And our round preview video will be there, and we'll be back on to get your Easter weekend kick-started at 6:15 on the Thursday night. as the teams drop.
Yeah, boy.
Going to be very exciting to talk about the round 3 teams. And we do have Gold Coast and GWS on the bye, so make your necessary adjustments as you need to when news comes to hand. That's what it's all about. All right, thanks very much for tuning in, and well done to the Warn Dogs.
No.
Bad luck to Calvinator.
Get on with it.
See ya.